Hey guys, if you're seeing this, hopefully you know that Dimaga has already won. I'm going to be hopping over into SC2 Gears. This is just kind of like an anti-spoiler video. It's not going to be that good, I promise you. It's just something to put on my YouTube channel to make it look like we went into all 7 games, so there is no spoiling at all. Right now I'm looking at this multi-replay analysis. We're going to go into this tool, and then we can look at the average EAPM for Dimaga is at 169. WhiteRa is at 117. Hold on one second. Let me pause that game so we don't have background sounds and all that stuff. There we go. So, EAPM you do see. One really cool thing about this is we won't be able to see it now, but if we go in, right-click that, and click on Open Player, it's really handy for Zerg. Like, we can look at this chart type under the development chart, and we can't see anything now. You can look at APM development and spawn larva. Those are the two best ones. And also game length is pretty cool if they have that. Game type, oh man, I don't know. But I mainly would look at APM development and spawn larva. You can't see anything right now because the granularity, it only goes down to the day, week, month, year, ladder session. It doesn't have one for the game. If it had one for the game, you would see each game mapped out. If you open this up with all your replays, you will see your APM development or your spawn larva over the days, and hopefully you see a graph trending the way you want it to trend. So there's really not that much we can look at. You can see activity charts, see the games you played per days, and all that type of stuff. Game lengths is over here if you want to look at how many games you played, all that type of stuff. Build orders also can look at. Pretty nice stuff. Definitely would recommend looking at the multi-replay analysis. It is really cool and can help your game so you know, hey, I am improving on my spawn larva. Well, whoa, I am not improving on that. I probably should improve on my spawn larva. And those type of things. So, we'll go into this replay analysis. I just got to kill like 10 minutes. So, again, nothing going to be interesting. Just me browsing around these replays, just bored, killing time, so there's no spoilers on my YouTube. Hopefully you guys enjoy me actually trying to keep my YouTube spoiler friendly, and I gotta put some content out making it look somewhat unique so I don't violate any of YouTube's terms of service. So going into game 1, we're mainly going to be focusing on Dimaga, and here is a great thing I use. Whenever I look for games to cast, I always look at map image. I've been trying to do my second vlog, and I've been looking for a game where Protoss proxies something, and I haven't actually found that recently. Or not proxies, but maybe 4 gates or something, and there's a good sign, but at high level, it just doesn't happen that often. But generally what I do, I know there's a way to make this chart bigger. It says zoom in, click, and drag with mouse. I'm clicking and dragging. I don't really know. When you open up the game, I look for things and just try to find out where the game would have ended. Yeah, it kind of spoils it for me. I always know how many bases go up. I don't know if these bases stay alive because it doesn't tell you at the end of the game. It just tells you everything that was built. So if I saw like a pylon right here, I would hover over it and see, okay, it's at the 750 mark. The game's about 16 minutes long. It's most likely this pylon dealt damage and then just the game was over after that. Just took the extra 10 minutes to finish it off or something like that. That's how I filter out all the games. There, now you guys know how I pick games, and also I have some people that watch replays and email me at ip@ragequit.tv and let me know which games are very good. But we'll go over the APM tab of Game 1 between WhiteRa and Dimaga. We'll go looking at each game, and that should kill enough time. And I'm going to go over this very, very quickly, so you may want to pause the video if there's anything you want to look at in depth, and then you can. We do have macro APM 32, micro 84 for WhiteRa, while Dimaga at 71 macro, 111 micro. Dimaga at a high APM of 132, while WhiteRa at 82. Overall redundancy for Dimaga 27%, while WhiteRa is at 29%. So not only was Dimaga faster, but he was more redundant. Or less redundant, I should say. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. Go into the builds tech. Oh, you do see 23 Broodlords morphed, 130 Banelings. That's pretty big. And 34 Urkon morphs. That is a lot bigger. I don't recall that. Huh. 44 Chronos, 70 Spawn Larva, Again, if you want to look at all the individual things, go ahead and pause the video, and then you can look at it. 475 Lings, 48 Corruptors, 17 High Templars, 42 Stalkers, 12 Sentries, 78 Zealots, 100 Probes, 149 Drones. Okay, so go over into main building control, and this is what... Oh my god, Dimaga! You had me at hello. That is a beautiful graph, dude. So going over to 10 minutes, we do see 5.4 seconds. 5.4 seconds at the 10-minute mark. That is pretty impressive. Again, no action has happened. This is just how in tune he is. And I no longer feel bad for that one comment I've said about Dimaga being better than Cats. Because Cats is a very good player, and I'm sure he would put up a good fight against Dimaga because Cats' ZVZ is pretty darn good along with any matchup. But Dimaga is just showcasing his mechanics right now. 7.1 seconds. Something happens right here. This was game number 1, Shattered Temple. Maybe this is that Zealot and Dimaga was using his drones. Going over to the map view. Map view. We're at 13 minutes. Slow the speed down to like ×8. Looks like some battle was going on. Maybe this when Dimaga dropped a bunch of banelings. But you just get to see the point that map view, main building control. Dimaga has very good injects. Like, insanely good injects. And we'll be looking at exactly how he does this. I'm curious if he hotkeys each hatchery, or he hotkeys each queen, or he does backspace inject. So we'll see how he does that. Go bring my game off to a corner, play it. And I'm on the Metalopolis game. You'll hear some background sounds, but I just want to get to the end of the game so we can look at Dimaga's hotkeys while we do talk about the next game. Going in the replay search, next game. At 10 minutes, 7.1 seconds, so not as good, but not bad. Ended the game off with 15.5. Not too bad. This one hatch got the short end of the stick. Not exactly sure what happened there. Maybe you remember game 2. I don't. Going over into builds tech, 29 Corruptors, 404 Lings, 16 Colossus. So this is the 1 gate expand by WhiteRa. 16 Colossus, 37 Stalkers, 77 Probes. Nothing too amazing. 72 Banelings, 3 Corruptions. That was really low. I think that was the game I commented about him not using Corruption. Definitely probably should have had more Corrupts used that game. 11 Force Fields. Nothing too interesting. Going over into the APM. Oh, we'll start with WhiteRa. 35 macro, 90 micro, Dimaga 64 macro, 126 micro. Aduncy for both players, 32%. Dimaga at 128 EAPM, while WhiteRa at 85. Going into, actually, we'll go back into StarCraft momentarily. Boom. And this is the Taldrim game. Oh, this is not a good game to do it on. This is him baneling busting. Let's see. Queen. So it looks like 0, he has all his hatches hotkeyed. 4, he has his queens hotkeyed. So he can do either backspace or check this out individually. Maybe he does a combination of them. But I'm going to go into game number 1 really fast while we open up the next replay, because that was by far the best game that will show everything. So I was not in that. There we go, Shattered Temple. So we'll open up the next game here while I skip ahead in this one game so we can see how Dimaga injects, because he obviously gets it. Going over into game 3, main building control, 10 minutes. At 5.3 seconds again. So that 5 seconds is very impressive. That is like nasty good. And I know, again, you can do this. There's really no pressure on you up to this point in the game. So there's no reason why you can't have this low of injects. It's just discipline of keeping an eye on it. And then end the game off really horribly this time with 1640. No, that's how long the game was. 11.1. It's not changing, so I think he lost his queens. What game is this? 3, Corehouse Compound. Yeah, I think he lost his queens on this game. This was the one where WhiteRa went for that Stargate play. So his queens ended up dying right here, 11.1 average. But this is the game where he morphs a lot of banelings, and he only morphs banelings one time. So we can go in this build's text. See, he used 45 banelings to kill that wall, which is pretty cool. 105 attack moves. That's not interesting. 31 spawn lavas, interceptors. Really nothing special there. Units, 113 lings, 6 carriers. Again, nothing special. APM, we do have Dimaga 58 macro, 95 micro, WhiteRa 24 macro, 78 micro. Redundancy for WhiteRa 36, Dimaga at 31. That game, nothing too special. It was a great game to watch, but I mean, nothing special along the lines of replay analysis. Again, if I bore you, feel free to turn it off. I don't know why you're watching this. I would find this probably boring. I don't know. Going in here. And this is mainly just me wanting to look at the injects. And 5.3 seconds. Not bad again. Again at that 5.3. And this is the Baneling Bus game on Shakur's? No, what was Shakur's? What happened? Oh, WhiteRa with his Warp Prism play. So he ends the game with 6.3 second. That is probably one of the lowest inject gaps you can end a game with ever. APM, you can see, again, relatively same APMs as before, so I'll only be pulling this up. I don't want to say that every time. Going over builds tech, you can see that was a pretty one-dimensional game. 175 lings versus the 60 zealots. And 2 warp prisms, 127 drones, 5 queens, 51 probes. Billy groups, 21 banelings. Yeah, that's pretty much about it. Next game. Totem Alter LE. This is the Baneling Buzz game. The average injects. It's action distribute. 10 minutes. 10 minutes. We'll just go to the end of the game. 9.9 seconds, so not good compared to what we have seen at Dimaga. Not exactly sure what happened in this game. Maybe the queen spawned up here. Because you can see this is the hatch that's really bringing him down. By the time he gets his first inject out, done with, he's at a 25-second inject gap right here. So, most likely he had the queen up in the main and it did some walking or did a creep to him. I don't know what it did. But the queen didn't immediately go to that natural hatch, it looks like, in Totem Alter. You can go back, watch the game if you want. But you can see his inject's not good. Everything else in this game, not really too good. APM, there it is. But again, this is one of those Baneling Bus games that you don't take too much out on from watching SC2 Gears. What you do take out on, if you re-watch the replay, see if there were any signs of him doing that. And the sign was, you lost your gateway, WhiteRa didn't cancel the gateway, lost all that mineral, and Dimaga was like, okay, I got a lead, let's just win the game with it. But most times there is some better sign to see your opponent is going to be doing something like this. And there's a way to stop it. 18 banelings, 7 creep tumors. Yeah, nothing special. Units, 96 lings. 3 voiders, 2 sentries, 1 stalker, 3 zealots versus 96 lings. That is definitely one-sided. Going over into the last game. Main building control. We do have sound on. Thank God my sound is not muted. That would suck. Let's go to 10 minutes. That is horrible. 12 seconds. Oh, that's good for an average player. But for Dimaga, as we saw in 5 seconds, that is horrible. 19-second gap. Oh, what happened on Terminus? What was happening right here? 10 minutes. That may be the time the Void Rays show themselves. Let's go to the main, map view, see if we can see what's going on. Again, you can't really see that much, so the map view doesn't really spoil you that much, if that makes sense. But if you get a game, you can kind of see. So that was WhiteRa. His vision was right here. He is looking down here. See if a Stargate up. Stargate was at 5:53, so yeah, that is his Stargate, and that is why Dimaga gets so distracted, it looks like, because the Stargate get started at 6 minutes. That's a really fast Stargate, so That means it'll finish around 7, 7:30. Void Rays 2, then he moved out. So yeah, this is when the Void Rays did come in. That's why Dimaga's injects are horrible, because he was using the Queens elsewhere. We do have APM. You can ooh and ah at it all you want. The micro APM is both at 92. Dimaga just 23 ahead in the macro APM with 3 less redundancy. Not bad, Dimaga. And hopefully this just furthers the knowledge of how good Dimaga is, just as a player mechanically. Dimaga is a mechanical beast right now. It looks like 102 Hydras and pretty good decision making. That Hydra thing with putting the overlords over the Hydralisk den was pretty amazing. 46 Lings, 171 drones. Not much this game in terms of abilities used. You see the one transfuse when I said, transfusing the Hydras! 10 lifts, yeah, nothing special on that graph. But what you want to see, I'm sure, is going back into the game. We can go, let's see, 8 minutes. And we'll go into Dimaga's view. How is he doing this? Getting the gas. So, looking at his hotkeys right now, you do see 2 things that I find interesting. One, every hotkey, every hatch rate is on a hotkey. And number 2, all his queens are also on a hotkey. So, and he has all his hatches on 0. So this is really interesting to me, because generally I see players either do one or the other, but Dimaga, when he's playing, he can cycle through all his hatches like the Koreans do, so he knows when they're about to inject, and then if he's in battle, he also can do the backspace method. So this, while it looks so simple to just do both, hotkey the hatches and the queens, I really like this method, and I'm surprised I don't do this. But let's go back to Dimaga. Normal mode, selecting hatches, then he's going for his queens, building stuff. Inject, and looks at that. Okay, I know that's almost ready to be injected. Play with those lings a little bit. Okay, that one hatch way back there. Did I inject that? Did he do that? No, he didn't. So he's missing the inject right here. But he saw it was almost ready, but that's beside the point. There we go, inject going off on the hatch. Those lings going to be going down to those zealots. Now checking his hatch again. Since it's morphing in a layer, you can't just look at its progress in the hotkey thing. You can see him just changing all his units around. Again, this is normal speed, not the general game speed. So this is going a little bit slower than you're used to watching, just so we can watch him cycle through everything. And now, let's see. Next inject. Queen. Goes back to that. Doesn't have the energy. There we go. Injects again. Going back to that. And is he doing a tumor? Or is he going to inject? He moved the queen. That was odd. Now it's ready, and now he's going to be injecting it again. So it looks like he mainly does it all on the hatches, and then when he gets into the late game, he may go and use backspace method. Backspace method. That is really cool by Dimaga. I didn't know he did that. And hopefully you guys find that interesting. That Dimaga, he does a hybrid between the 2 methods. So if he's really in a battle and he has to inject fast, he can just go like that and inject all his hatches. If he's in the early stage of the game, he can just click, okay, I'm ready for injects. Or if he's in battle, he can go quickly 5, 6, 7, see, okay, I'm ready for injects on all 3, hit 4, backspace, 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 and all done. Really nice by Dimaga. Hopefully that convinces you guys to look at your creep inject, and this is doing it one acceptable way, because a 5 inject gap is very, very nice. And hopefully you enjoyed this little brief intermission after the games. Of course, Dimaga won. Big thanks to SC2Saga.com. And this is just a spoiler-free video. Take care. See you guys next time.